So, I've had Big Blue for a month. Let's talk about it. What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy MikeOfAllTrades. Coming at you today, I almost said this morning or evening, depending on when you're watching this, with a review on the Arcade1Up Big Blue arcade cabinet. You know, that thing back there. First and foremost, if you like what you see, what I'm saying, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and turn on your notifications as we make our way to 2K. You know what I mean? So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, for those who don't know, Arcade1Up has been making little miniature like arcade cabinets to go in your home for a couple years now. I bought the Wave 1 Street Fighter, the Wave 2 Mortal Kombat, Marvel Superheroes, you know what I'm saying, Turtles, NBA Jam, you name it, I bought them. Some of them are still here, some of them aren't. So, when they announced the Capcom Legacy Cab, I was always like, well, I want to get that. You know, it's lots of Street Fighter, you know what I mean? And a couple other games thrown in there like Darkstalkers and whatnot. But then, you know, a couple months later, you know, they announced Big Blue. And Big Blue for myself holds a lot of personal memories. You know what I mean? Like, legitimately, like, Big Blue is the cabinet that I learned to play Street Fighter on. Big Blue is how I learned freaking, like, well, it was a Big Blue cabinet, so Marvel's Capcom 2, although, you know, they were just putting Big Blue cabinets and the Versus series and things of that nature. So, hell, I even learned how to play Third Strike on a Big Blue cabinet. You know what I mean? In the arcades. Yes, I just dated myself. Don't at me. So, when Arcade1Up announced it, I was like, yeah, and you guys saw the video. If you didn't see the video, it'll be up right there. And in that video, you know, I talked about how, you know, it's expensive. They're pricing themselves out of the market, etc., etc. And, you know, I don't know if it was, I think it was the love of Street Fighter that made me buy it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have it. You know, it's 5'9" or 69 inches. How you doing? I think it's 69 or 67. Pretty sure it's 67, but 69 just sounds better. You know what I mean? The packaging. All right, so the box that it comes in, you know, it looks like your standard arcade, you know, 1-up box, like the NBA Jam Live cabinet or the TMNT cabinet came in, or MVC came in. It looks like one of those boxes, except this box weighs 106 pounds. I'm gonna say that again. The box weighs 106 pounds. Now, unless you're strong, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna need 2 people to get this in. Me, I'm kind of strong. So, you know what I mean? Like, that didn't bother me any. But for them to cram everything that they crammed inside that packaging, it's crazy. So it comes with the system, you know, the arcade. It comes with the riser, and it comes with the stool. You know what I mean? And the oversized marquee, which you guys can see, it's, you know, it's pretty big. It's crazy though, because it's like they had the opportunity, you know what I mean? Like, the packaging, it wasn't any different from, you know, like I said, what you usually see. Same size box, everything else, same retail box. The thing with Arcade1Ups is that, from the way that John D explained it like years ago, everything has to fit inside of a retail box so it can go on the shelf. That being said, you don't see these at Walmart or Target or Best Buy. You can order them online, but I've yet to go in one of these stores and see one on the shelf. So, if it has to fit in retail packaging, but we still have to order it online, then maybe they could, you know, do a little something else, like the size. Let's get into the size for a little bit, right? All right, so check this out. So the Big Blue has the standard side panels, right? You know what I mean? And then it has an extender board, right? And this extender board's about, like, I don't know, maybe this long. I mean, I don't know, like what, extra 5-6 inches or something like that. But it's still, but they managed to get it somehow in the freaking box. I'm 6'3". All right, I'm 6'3", 6'3.5", right? And so, even on the riser, it's still kind of, you know, kind of low to me. I mean, I have to duck my head down a little bit like this but it's not as bad as like say Marvel, which is funny because they're the same height. So I don't know if it's like, you know, perception's everything or whatnot, but with, let's, you know what I'm saying, the bracket system that they're using, like they honestly, they could have made that panel another 3-4 inches and it could have been their first 6-foot panel, 6-foot cabinet. You know what I mean? And granted, yes, I know the average height of a male in the US is like 5'7". I get that. Some of us ain't 5'7". But yeah, like easily, and I think that's one of the things that I'm baffled by. It's one of those things where it's like you could have added another couple inches. Yes, I'm not saying you need to make another interlocking system where there needs to be brackets on brackets, you know, but I think that if they would have either extended that board a couple of inches or maybe offered that as an option, that would have been cool. Speaking of the bracket system, a pain in the ass. Okay? Legit. Like, and it wasn't like trying to get it in, it was more freaking at least my unit, all the holes weren't matched up. So I had to like actually go in and, you know, take a drill and like go in and screw whatever do, but it got done. So that's more of a QA thing. I think it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you're gonna take the time and you're gonna do the system that you're implementing, and it's gonna be used in the future, like Killer Instinct. I'm looking at the Killer Instinct renders. Looks like it has the same system for extensions, and those boards look a little shorter. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, and I don't know Arcade1Up if anybody's gonna see this. I don't know if John D's gonna watch it or whatever. Yo, shout out to John D. The time recording this, he was at Monday Night Raw with AJ Styles, so hashtag jealous. But maybe you guys can sell like a la carte separate plates on the website, you know, make them a little longer without us having to like do it ourselves, because I usually don't mod these things, but that's literally something that I've been thinking about. All right, speaking of modding, let's talk about the buttons and sticks. So I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like Arcade1Up's gone backwards. Like the buttons and sticks in Marvel vs. Capcom, and I've touched the X-Men vs. Street Fighter one, you know what I mean? Like they feel okay, like they feel good, like they don't feel bad. You touch the sticks on Big Blue, it instantly, I kid you not, I instantly flash back to the Wave 1 Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition cap. Instantly. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things where it's like, I'm not saying we need Sanwa buttons, you know what I mean? All my fight stick have Sanwa buttons, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that we need those, but what I am saying is that some better quality buttons and sticks would be great. The buttons, you know, they do what they're supposed to do. You know, you hit them, they're clicky and, you know, whatever else. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of mushy though, you know what I mean? Like they're kind of mushy. And this was out of the box. So I assume that they had a big order of these sticks and buttons and left over from Street Fighter and Legacy, and they were just using them. You know what I mean? I think that for $600, you know, the button quality could have been a little better, you know? Now, I mean, granted, I'm not saying like I'm gonna order like a Sanwa stick or what, you know, whatever. Like I can live with the buttons. Buttons fine. The joystick, on the other hand, that is my issue. Again, my unit only. I don't know about anybody else's, but my unit, the left stick is kind of, if you try to block down, you hold down back to block, and yeah, you miss inputs. Yo, fun fact, I've lost a lot of matches online like that, where you thought you were holding down back and you still ended up standing in neutral. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not registering. So it could be my unit, but for, you know what I mean, I'm not gonna sit and be like, hey, yo, you guys want to send me a new panel? Because that thing was a pain in the arse to get on too. Again, this is all quality control stuff, like where I had to mess with the panel to get it screwed in properly. I've never had a problem putting together an Arcade1Up. You know, these things go together like water, but for some reason this one, I don't know, the holes just weren't like lined up correctly. You know what I mean? So that's just the thing. Like I said, the panel, you know what I'm saying, the panel height, it's lower, you know, it's on a slant, but anybody who's, you know what I'm saying, played any of the Street Fighter games in the arcades or whatever understand that slant is authentic. I see a lot of people complain about, oh, well, you know, we shouldn't have the slant, and the slant doesn't do anything for us, and it prevents us from playing. Have you never played Street Fighter in arcade before? Have you never seen a Street Fighter cabinet? All Capcom fighting game cabinets were slanted. I think that was one of my biggest gripes when the Arcade1Ups first came out, was that the panel wasn't slanted. You know, when we got to Wave 3 and freaking Marvel Superheroes came out, my complaint was the panel wasn't slanted, you know, and now we've got Big Blue and the panel slanted. And I think that with the slanted panel, you know what I'm saying, the control panel, the control deck, I think that it's more noticeable now just how lower they are than they should be. You know what I mean? And again, that's one of those things where it's like, yes, it has to fit into a retail box, but a longer freaking side panel, you know, that since they're splitting away in the box, that's something that can be fixed legitimately. You know what I mean? The width is still the same size of a regular Arcade1Up. You know what I mean? Which, you know, in my dream world, I was hoping, you know what I mean, maybe it'll be like a couple inches wider. Let's be real, it's going to be truly impossible for you to play 2-player on that thing. But then again, we say the same thing about the other ones, and it's happened. So, you know, if you're 5'7" and you're like 140 pounds, yeah, you can probably get away with that. For us big boys, yeah, it can be done. Like I've done it with my kid, so it can be done. It's just not the most comfortable experience in the world. You know what I mean? The light up deck protector is the same that you've seen in X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel and NBA Jam. It's the same, you know what I'm saying? It's the same acrylic. And yes, the acrylic has little artworks to accentuate the lighting from the LED strip that's in the back, but it's still that, you know what I mean? A lot of the times it doesn't get turned on, but I wasn't turning them on for Marvel vs. Capcom either. So, you know, that's not that big of a deal to me. You know what I'm saying? The artwork, it's great. All right, so people complain about the artwork on the J panel, like the front of it. They use the, what is it, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition artwork on the front panel. Like, I remember that artwork because I used to have an old Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition strategy guide. One of my friends from one of my old jobs gave it to me. Shout out to you, Shane. You the man. Because you know how much I love Street Fighter, right? And it has it on front, and it's great to see Bison or Vega in Japan, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? It's great to see him on front like that. Like, it's good. You know, I personally like it better than just seeing the Capcom logo or a bunch of Street Fighter games listed. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy that more. So I'm okay with that. The side panel, you know what I'm saying, Champion Edition on the side. I mean, it's Big Blue. There wasn't a lot of artwork on these things. You know what I'm saying? I think it's good. You know what I mean? The monitor's the same, 17-inch monitor. You know what I mean? Like, which is crazy because for this to be Big Blue, and if you guys look, like, there's Big Blue, right? But if you look at Marvel, it's crazy how the Marvel cabinet, the monitor is like a little bit higher, and I don't get that. And it's like, it's nothing major. It's like a half an inch, but a half an inch makes a difference. How you doing? I'm not taking that out. I'm leaving that in. But you know what I mean? Like, it looks good. Display's nice. You know what I mean? The OS, and you know what I mean? Like, the menu that they're using, it's good. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people are complaining about there not being scan lines, which I think that's, I guess, an odd omission, because that was in the Capcom Legacy cabinet. You can turn on scan lines, but that's not in Big Blue, which I think that's the running theme of this cabinet. A lot of stuff that should be in this cabinet isn't on here. Now, granted, it has an SD card slot, it has a USB slot, so these things could be done in an update or whatever else, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Scan lines aren't a big deal to me. You know what I mean? If I want to play Street Fighter on scan lines, I'll go turn on my Super Nintendo and play on my CRT in my living room. You know what I mean? That's not a deal breaker to me. But to some people, that's gonna matter. So no, there are no scan lines. You know what I mean? The speaker system isn't pointing down. It's like directly straight out at you. So when you turn it on, you hear everything. You know what I mean? And that's a positive and a negative, you know. With it coming straight at you, you hear the sound, you hear the quality of the speakers. The speaker system is still the same speaker system that they've been using since Wave 3. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. But normally in those cabs, in Wave 3 cabs, they would be pointed downwards. Whereas this, it's pointed directly at you. So you can hear a little bit, you get a little bit more clarity, I mean, from the speakers. So you can actually accept the quality of the sound that's coming out of there. Marquee's great. I would love, and I know somebody else is gonna do it. I don't know if it's gonna be Buy Stuff Store or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna make aftermarket marquees for this thing, and they're gonna sell them. I wish that Arcade1Up would sell them themselves. If we can get oversized marquees for X-Men versus Street Fighter or Marvel versus Capcom. Although Marvel vs. Capcom really didn't have any oversized marquees. You know what I mean? Like in the original cabinets, they were all like regular size, but X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, you know what I mean? Like, but you know, you take liberty and make these things, because I would love to slide in like redacted. And put that in there as an oversized marquee. You know what I mean? The marquee looks great. Like art-wise, it looks great. But it's really dull. I don't understand how that happened. Like, it's really dull. You know what I mean? Like, for comparison, look at Marvel. Look how lit up Marvel is, right? Now look at Street Fighter Champion Edition. Marvel. Street Fighter Champion Edition. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why it's not more lit up. I guess if it was more lit up with the way the light's bleeding through, I guess it would look a little more washed out. But some people might think it's too dull. I don't personally have a problem with it. It's a marquee. So, you know, it is what it is. The Stool. Can we talk about the Stool? The Stools are starting to become one of those things where it's like they're coming in boxes, and it's not that I don't want to put them together, and it's not that I don't want to put these stools together, you know what I mean? But it's more of if you're in a condensed space, then they're taking up space, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Like, they're there, you know, and like, I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because since Marvel vs. Capcom came out, I've lost weight. You know what I mean? So I can't be like, oh, well, or so maybe it's just I don't have much cushion on my butt as I used to. Like, I've lost like 200 pounds. You know what I mean? So I sit on the big blue and it's like, yeah, you can feel that there's not enough like cushion on these stools. You know what I mean? To justify like the extra 80 or $100 that they're like charging for these things that are in the box. So if you really break it down, you know, $5.99, right? Even with the increase. If you take the stool out, it's like $80, or they usually sell them for like 80. So that puts you down to like $5.20. But for the sake of, you know what I'm saying, let's say the oversized marquee is like another like 10 or whatever, dude. You take out the stool and you could probably get that in at $4.99. Like, real talk. Even Walmart is with the Simpsons that's selling for $700. It's selling without the stool and I think the little sign or whatever, and it's at $5.29. So, not for comparison reasons, but I'm just saying you could probably get that in at $500. You might have to eat a little bit of loss, but you know, can we just start offering options without the stool? Because there are probably plenty of people who own 15, 20 Arcade1Ups and probably have a closet full of stools. All right, you know what I'm saying? Let's just stop that. Let's talk about the games real quick that are on the big blue Arcade1Up Street Fighter cabinet. I'm gonna say that again. A Street Fighter cabinet, right? So tell me why there are really technically only 3 Street Fighter titles on this cabinet. Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. We're not counting Puzzle Fighters because it's Puzzle Fighters. 25% of your games are Street Fighter on a Street Fighter cabinet. Why is it that there were more Street Fighter titles on the Capcom Legacy cabinet? Look, I'm not complaining because all the games are online. Each one of the games are on here. So, like I said, there's Championship Edition, Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I mean. You know what I'm saying? Freaking Puzzle Fighter, Darkstalkers 1, 2, and Vampire Saber, which is 3. You know what I mean? Which is the tournament played one. Saturday Night Slam Masters, Master Busters Duo. You know what I mean? Those are all great. You've got freaking Echo Fighters. Okay, cool, whatever. Knights of the Round, which, yo, that's a good shout. Like, real talk. That's a good shout. Knights of the Round. Capcom Sports Club, which everybody said is a sleeper. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's great. And I am forgetting a game. And I'm forgetting him because it never gets played. But there's 12 games, 25% of Street Fighter. Okay? Legitimately. We couldn't even get the original Street Fighter. Now, granted, you know what I mean? I'm not saying you want to play that online, but at least give it, if it's a Street Fighter cabinet, yo, give the option. You know what I mean? That should be a thing. Street Fighter 1. Or just regular Super Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Or base Street Fighter 2. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people are going to get this, and then they're not going to look at the game selection, and they're going to think that they're going to get all these Street Fighter games because they were in the Capcom Legacy cabinet. And they're not. And that's going to upset a lot of people. You know, I was kind of hoping that, you know, with some of these cabinets, there's like hidden games or whatever else. And I was hoping that maybe we get lucky and maybe Street Fighter would be a hidden game, you know, if you, regular Street Fighter or Street Fighter 2, you know, whatever. Now, would they have gotten played a lot? Probably not. And I understand why Arcade1Up left it off. You know what I mean? Let's be real. If you have the choice between playing Street Fighter 2 online or playing Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fight, which one are you playing? Or if you have the option to play Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, I keep calling it Championship, which one are you playing? You know what I mean? And so, I get it. I understand leaving it off. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense. Because then that's more you have to code for online play. Those are more lobbies you have to make, etc., etc. So I understand it. But if it's a Street Fighter focused cabinet, you should offer more Street Fighter games. You easily could have made this 16. Like, real talk, this could have been 16 games. If this were 16 games, I don't think people would be complaining so much about the price. Legitimately, 16 games, and you would have had a good selection of Street Fighter on there, I don't think people would have complained. Legit. I'm not saying you guys should have put Street Fighter 2 Rainbow Edition on here, no, because, you know, hacks and whatnot. But I'm saying, like, there would have been more Street Fighter, or more games to choose from. I don't think that, you know what I mean, like, there would have been so much of an issue, but come on, man, it's a Street Fighter cabinet. Give us some doggone Street Fighter. Speaking of Street Fighter and online, let's talk about the online real quick. At the time of recording this, I played some games online. I think I've played almost every game online. And what I'm noticing is, and it's probably because of the install base, you have to be online at certain times. Or if you're not part of the Arcade1Up fighting game group on Facebook, more likely than not, you're not going to find a lot of matches. And like I said, part of that's because of install base, part of that is because people have lives and jobs and whatnot. You know what I mean? But you see cats like, you know what I'm saying, to Die For, Obliviate, 4-player co-op. That dude drove me from pillar to post. You know what I mean? The lobby system, it's the same system that you saw from Marvel vs. Capcom, where 2 people can be in a lobby, and a lot of other people can spectate. And a lot of the time, that's what ends up happening, is that people want to see top tier Street Fighter play, and they'll sit and watch. You know what I mean? Which is good and bad. You know, it's good because you're getting to see high level play, and you get to analyze and understand, oh, this is why such and such did this. Oh, this is why a Guile player is still freaking godly in freaking Champion Edition. You know what I mean? Like, this is why people are complaining that Bison's broken, etc. So you get to see all that, right? But the same system from Marvel vs. Capcom and X-Men vs. Street Fighter is the same system that's failing now. And hear me when I say this. Like, hear me when I say this. There needs to be 8-player rooms. Change the lobby system, please. It's not that hard to do, although not a color. Just change it to 8-player lobbies so we can officially put our quarters on the glass. The main complaint that you hear from the community is that you watch people come in and they just watch matches. There'll be 2 lobbies open and people are just watching matches and not playing the game. There should be an option where if you want to go into somebody's room and you want to watch these matches, you should be able to do so, or you should be able to join via winners or face the winners, because it's not fair to make the loser stay on and the winners goes off. Winners should stay. Fix these lobbies, because the more and more people that buy this, you're just gonna have more and more people spectating. And yeah, if you like to show off and whatever, that's cool, but you're not gonna have the interaction that you were hoping for. There's 200 rooms in each game, so there's a lot of rooms for people to fight in. But you know, a lot of people get nervous, and it's because if you see the #1 player on Street Fighter Champion Edition and they're in a room with somebody else, or they're not in a room facing anybody, are you gonna go face that player? No, because people, well, I will, because you know my pull-up game is strong. But other people aren't, because they don't want to get destroyed. They don't want to get obliterated. You know what I mean? Like, people want their hands held. And in arcades back in the day, you didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, yo, if you saw somebody playing by themselves, whatever, you didn't know what was going to go on. You put your quarter up, you know what I'm saying? You grabbed it, you hopped on the second player, and you got busy. And if you got washed, you got washed. And if you didn't, you got a dub. And if nobody else was around, you run it back. Which is the next thing. Change the lobbies to 8 players. And if you're gonna make a lobby like that, make it first to 5. Have an option to make it first to 5 or first to 10, and then the lobby closes. You know what I'm saying? If it's just 1-on-1, or make it so it's, you know, rotating. These are easy implementations that can be made, and I hope that Arcade1Up makes them in the future, because I shouldn't have a better Street Fighter Online experience on my Xbox 360 or my PS3. Hell, for as convoluted as the freaking system is on freaking Street Fighter 5 on PS4, where you have to actually hit start to ready up when it's your turn. Like, come on. Speaking of online, can we get a ranking system? Yes, you have a leaderboard ranking system, but I think that's another reason that, I don't know if there's another thing that deters people from playing online, is you've got all the people up here in this upper echelon, and then all the low tier gods, you know what I'm saying? Haha. Are getting washed. You know, have a separate ranking tier thing. I'm not saying be Guilty Gear, and I'm not saying make it like, so you know what I'm saying, the Celestial Floor, whatever. I'm not saying do all that, but I'm saying, like, you can't do skill-based matchmaking if nobody's playing, but I think that's kind of what people want, if that makes any sense. So just some things to think about online. Oh, and rage quitting. Listen. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna do it directly in the camera. If we're in the middle of a first to 10, and you know we're in the middle of first to 10, because once you go past 5, you know we're going to 10. And if I already downloaded you and I'm watching you 7 in a row, don't quit. Get this work. And if they quit, you shouldn't be penalized for a loss. Yeah, that's happened to me plenty of times, where I was dragging somebody they would quit out mid-match, but then it would reflect on a loss on my record, because the live button makes it so easy to close the game now. People either close the game or they're just turning it off out of frustration. But like I said, I'm not the best Street Fighter player in the world. By all means, not at all. I take my lumps just like anybody else. But there should be a penalty for rage quitting. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? That being said, would I recommend it to anybody? It depends. Do you like Street Fighter? Do you like online play? Do you like being able to play with somebody? Now granted, I did my testing over the online, and in a setting where, you know, everybody else was gonna be playing. Let's be real, everybody's not running an Ethernet cable into their Arcade1Up. All right, so I ran it off of Wi-Fi. And I will say this, all the matches that I played, they were all about 48 to 56 milliseconds, right? So this is off of wireless, so that's really freaking good. It doesn't, you know what I mean, unless the other person's hardwired, it kind of doesn't make sense to be hardwired, you know what I mean? And you never know who's hardwired when they're coming into your lobby, you know what I mean? So even under those testings, like, it was great. It literally was. It was great. No lag. I can't complain about it at all. I know that this is the first, like, real esports cab that Arcade1Up is trying to develop and get into people's homes, and they're talking about running tournaments and everything else. And from that standpoint, I can absolutely see it. You know, I think one of the reasons I watch Fighters Evo and Kuma Rev is because, like, yo, there's like an esports feel, and that dude, like, listen. Yo, Rev is the golden boy of our Arcade1Up community. Legit. Like, you're not following Fighters Evo, you know what I'm saying? Put your quarters in glass, yo. We'll drop them a sub. Legit. They're our golden boy. You know what I'm saying? That dude is phenomenal. And I get where they're going with this. I mean, it's more esports, old school like esports, and I'm fine with that. So if you're looking for some competition, you know what I mean, and you just want to play some Street Fighter Online, you know what I mean, get a couple matches in, or maybe you want to try some games that you haven't played. Maybe a lot of people haven't played Darkstalkers, you know. A lot of people don't understand that, you know, Hagar Final Fight is in freaking Saturday Night Slam Masters. Do I think Muscle Buster Duo should have been on there? No, because it's just tag version of Saturday Night Slam Masters. But you want an experience for 4 players, so I get it. Yeah, I mean, I think the only negative I can say besides the height of the cabinet, because yes, it should still be a little taller. My only real issue is your scores don't save when you turn the game off. That's an easy fix. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that could have been patched in. I'm just saying. Do I regret my purchase? No, not at all. It's just something about turning it on and seeing that. You know, it's like the dream of, like, it's the Silver Spoons thing where you used to watch the show and the kid had all the arcades in their house. Yo, I feel like that kid. You know what I mean? And Arcade1Up continues to give me the games that I want. They've officially, you know what I'm saying, the pre-orders for Killer Instinct go up on November 10th. You know, unless you pre-order from Target. Yeah, unless you pre-order from Target. They continue giving me the caps that I want. The only problem it's gonna run into is gonna run out of space one day, and then more decisions will have to be made. I can, even with the price point, you know what I mean, even with the little nitpicks that I have, I can wholeheartedly recommend this cabinet. Legitimately, I can recommend this cabinet. Yes, the buttons and the sticks or whatever, but those are easy swap outs. And if you're a DIY person, you can definitely change all that. You know what I mean? But yes, this is probably the best Arcade1Up cabinet they've ever put out. And I'm not saying that, no BS, I mean that seriously. This is still the best cabinet that Arcade1Up has yet to put out. And I hope Killer Instinct surpasses this one. You know what I'm saying? You know what's better than me talking about Arcade1Up and giving my opinions? B-roll. yo, that's the video, everybody. Yo, thank you guys for watching, you know what I'm saying? Yo, make sure to hit that like button, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Turn your notifications so you know when I go live. Yo, let me know in the comments. Did you pick up Arcade1Up's Big Blue? Are you picking it up? Does this video help make your decision one way or the other? Yo, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Or let me know, do you think I wasted my money? Let me know that too. Anyway, I'm MikeOfAllTrades. You guys have been great. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Yo, listen, Capcom, look, having fun with the Championship Edition, whatever else, but yo, can we get a cap so we can play that and some Third Strike? Just saying.